Okay, now we're referencing the expanded tax formula. So now we're going to review it in one of the chapters here. So I'm going to go into that question within the student view. Okay, under our assignments and projects, and under, yeah, tax problem. So that's the one that we're referencing right now. And it's going to give me a thought process here. No, actually, I'm going to go home. Going home, then I'm going to go to the thing that says, I'm sorry, before I do that, I want to be in the student view. And I'm going to go to tax problem. Is it going? What's going on? Let me see, nothing has happened. Oh, here we go. So let me see here, let me make sure. Wait. Let me make sure that this is the one that is sharing. No, that isn't the one we want to share right now. So let me go here. Let me share a different window, which would be this one. Okay. Okay. So let me just expand this a little bit so we can see even better. Okay. So it says, yes?
That's a different one.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's still the homework?
That's the homework, yeah.
Okay. Hold on here. Okay, let me go back to study, student view. Me, text problem. Okay, so just making sure it's showing up on the video here. Okay, that's taking some time. So Jose and Dora Hernandez are married filing jointly. They are 50 and 45 years old, respectively. Okay. So what I normally do when I'm reading these type of questions, I like to read the question first, because what happens, especially on the CPA exam, is that they give you huge paragraphs of information that you don't need. And then by the time you read over everything, you don't really have time to answer the question. So whenever you hear students talk about, oh man, the CPA exam is so hard, I didn't even have time to finish, because you didn't read the question first. Read the question first, then you should know exactly what you're looking for, right? So instead, people read it like it's a book, like they're going from top, starting to finish, right? So it's just like your SATs. If you remember that, you know, like they have like the reading portion, and you have to read the whole thing and stuff like that. What I normally do, just read the question first, and then I go start digging in for the answer. All right, so two different methodologies there. Okay, so for me, what I want to know is, it says prepare the tax return for Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez using the appropriate form. They are entitled to a $1,000 tax credit. For now, enter the credit on the appropriate line of the form. Both Jose and Dora want to contribute to the presidential election campaign. Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez had qualifying health care coverage at all times during the tax year. Okay. Oh my gosh. Does it do this for you guys too?
Yeah, it did it for me.
Mine just popped up.
Wow.
Yeah, it's probably because you're broadcasting too.
No, that shouldn't.
That shouldn't do it.
No.
Try refreshing.
Every time I'm about to refresh, I'm like, no, it's about to come on. Okay, let me just refresh this. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Yeah. So now for this, what do you start doing? You just start populating people's names, right? So your first name, last name. So I'm going to put here probably Jose. Sorry. Okay. Start populating there. Jose and Dora. Okay. Okay. Home address. I'm just gonna go to here. Populate this. And then maybe, yes?
I think we put Dora where Jose's last name.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Oh, why they even give me that as an option? They're tricking me here. All right. Dora, all right. Of course, Hernandez. Okay. $30294. There we go. Okay. They did talk about the presidential election, right? So does it say both? For now, both, okay. Okay. Of course, I'm going to put married filing jointly right here. What else I'm going to put? Of course, the social security number. I'm just copying and pasting here. No, man, copy and paste.
I'm a fool.
Yeah. Hey, man, this isn't an English paper, man. Copy and paste.
I like that.
So much easier.
Yeah. Did they give us a place for their birth date on this form? No? Okay. So then, daughter, Adela. So if I'm really trying to see clearly, I probably just try to minimize it a little bit. Her birthday, just copy and paste. No, that's right. It's not going to be here. Her social security number will be here though. And we're calling her daughter. So put that there. Okay. Let me see what other things they allow us to do on this form. That's it? Okay. So if we're talking about interest of $300 from Citibank, see how this goes. I'm going to go to line 8A. Oh, what do you just do? Just put in the number? That's what you guys have been doing?
We just plug everything in.
Okay. So 300. That's for the interest. So normally what I do first, I mean, this is just in real life. I do all the easier things first, and then so I can concentrate on the more difficult things, right? So when we're talking about the wages and salaries, get my calculator up there. Let's see here. Okay, let's see here. So what'd you get for the wages? They're 31,000 plus 45,800. Yeah. So over here for wages, I'm just going to put the 76,800. We have the 300. And usually in tax programs, a lot of things will be will populate for you, right? So in this case, it's not populating for you. It's really wanting your brain to work. So it says boxes 6A and 6B, right? So we're going to claim ourselves here. So we have to check these boxes. No, please. I hope not. I'm going to ignore that message. So that should be 2, right? And then it has here in 6C, number of children who lived with you. I'm going to put the number 1 here, right? So now you can see when you add these, it's going to auto-populate right here for the number 3. Okay. So that's another one to take care of. Oh. So for the child tax credit, and this is on a tax return 2 tax return program, you're going to click this, right? And it should populate for you for the child tax credit. Let's see if this program does anything. No, we're going to have to put it ourselves. Okay. Okay. So I guess that's that. What else do we have? So this is adding by itself. Man, I hope that doesn't happen to you guys. To start all over, reopen it. Yeah. Okay. So now this one. Page 2. Let's see. Okay. This is something that you have to enter in by yourself, which is the standard deduction. So what is the standard deduction of married filing jointly?
12,600.
Yep. So I'm going to put 12,000 600 here. See how that now changed to 64,500.
Now, does that ever change yearly since inflation, stuff like that?
It can, yeah.
Okay.
So that's why every year you just have to check.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess this is another open item, exemptions. Multiply 4,050 by the number in line 6D, right? So line 6D, I believe that was 3, right? Okay. 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 Line 6D is 3. So how much is that? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, 12,150. Okay. Tax including any alternative minimum tax. So what do you guys get for that?
I got 0. I'm pretty sure it was 0.
This is your taxable income, so the 52,350. So let's go to, yeah.
Or was that the tax liability line?
And that was the, oh shoot, where am I going? Oh boy, did it just,
Yeah.
oh no, okay. Here we go. What is this? Tax including any alternative minimum tax. So we're gonna say,
Is that the tax that they paid?
Yeah.
Put the tax liability, subtract, see what.
let me see here. What was their tax? No, that wasn't the tax paid. The tax paid is gonna be, what line item? Federal income, so that would be number 40. So number 40 would be 3650 plus 6160, 9810. So I'd put 9810 right there. So we didn't have any estimated tax payments that we applied, that we're going to apply to the return. So remember, I told you last week that you can roll over your refund. So that's what this would be. So if we rolled over $5,000, we would get credit for that $5,000 that we rolled over. Right. So then again, you have the option this year again to either roll over the whole thing over again, or you just take it this time. So usually when people roll it over, it's because they know the next year they're going to owe a lot of money, right? So think about it. When you prepare your tax return, it's usually from February to April the next year. So maybe by that time, by January, you already have in your mind like, oh wait, you know what? I'm going to sell my house and it's going to have a gain on it. So let me just forward these payments right now, right? Instead of paying for it later, right? So it's all about your tax planning initiative. Okay? So that's a scenario that somebody may use that. Okay? Remember the tax credit that they said in this line item, child tax credit, they said it was going to be $1,000. So let me just put that in line 35,000. Okay, what else do we have here? 30, okay. 52,350, okay. One down here. Yep. It says here 52,350. It's 6929 right there. 6929. Okay. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to put tax is 6929. Okay. And that should be it. Let me see here. Okay, let me just check to make sure something here. So usually on a tax return, actually, let me see if it's even on here. Okay, so these aren't editable populated items, but it says your occupation and spouse's occupation, right? So normally, and I've seen their occupations here. What is it? Yeah, Jose is a store manager, Dora is a receptionist. So normally you would put the occupations there. You'd also put the your signature there. It would probably be an electronic signature, right? That comes with the software. The software will automatically enter in a date, the date that that you file the return. The preparer's name will auto-populate because you're doing it electronically, right? And the firm's name will be there electronically. It will automatically populate your firm's address, your firm's EIN, right? So employer identification numbers. So these are things a lot that are just auto-populating. Yeah, a lot of auto-populating. Okay, that was the tax problem. Any questions on that? It seems very confusing because it doesn't really guide you really what they want you to populate. Right.
What about like the securities, social security wages and stuff like that? That doesn't get added onto it?
Well, technically that would be on the form that you would use. So on the actual tax form, there's going to be like a section where you can just enter that in, right? So when you enter it in, it's automatically going to start adjusting for Social Security and Medicare taxes. Right, so in this scenario, they're just giving you like the bare minimums. So again, you know, school isn't enough. You're gonna have to do a lot of Googling and stuff like that. I mean, when I first started preparing tax returns, let me see, I had a master's in accounting. I still didn't know how to prepare a tax return. Right?
Sometimes the wording is like.
Yeah. So again, master's in accounting, it meant absolutely nothing. Actually, at that time too, I had an MBA. So I had an MBA and I had a master's in accounting, and still didn't mean anything. Right? So it's definitely a skill set. So remember, it's a field that many of us can get into. And I will say, let me see here. I'm going to do. Let me see here. Just an application. Let me check if I do this one. Right. So if I'm looking at it, I'm going to put enrolled agent exam. Enrolled agent exam, and that's issued by the IRS. So remember, I'll tell you, apply for enrollment, stuff like that. You have to renew your status every 3 years, stuff like that. Okay. See candidate information bulletin. We're talking about the exam. Okay. It's a 3-part exam. Wow. Starting March 18th, it's going to go from $112 each part to $182 each part. It's massive inflation. Right? Because it can. I mean, why does Apple charge like $1,000 for their phone? Because you're going to buy it. So that's just what it is. Because no matter what, think about it this way: to be an enrolled agent, to prepare these type of tax returns, you don't need a degree. So regardless of anything, right? This is your best bang for your buck anyway. Even if they said $1,000 a part, who cares? $3,000 is still less than 50,000, 60,000, or whatever thousand that we're referring to, right? So I mean, really, $82. This is a steal, man. So you think about it. Well, what is that? 182 times 3, right? And you say you spend maybe $500 on a software program to help you study. So an investment of $1,046. You can charge, if you're doing business returns, you can charge like $1,200. So you already made your money back, right? So I mean, this is the best bang for your buck. So I'm an enrolled agent, right? And I'll show you little things if I really wanted to. Let's say tax advisor Intuit. Let's see here. Say if you just got it, right? So many people are like, oh man, I'm only making 15 an hour, 16 an hour, stuff like that, right? They're saying a seasonal tax specialist salary is $20, right? So let's see. Hold on here. Let's see if it has a title. No, it's not going to have that. So I'm going to show you. Working from home as a tax advisor for Intuit. Real ways to earn. So even when I was in college, man, I've always tried to have jobs that weren't like the mall, stuff like that, like really jobs that are leading somewhere, right? How much do Intuit tax advisors make? The rate of pay isn't listed on the website, but it's rumored to be $18 an hour, possibly a little bit more. In addition to their pay, up to $8,000 per season, right? So the $8,000 per season is based on incentives of your work performance, right? So what is a normal tax season? We're talking about February 1st to like April 15th. So if you are full-time, 40 hours a week, part-time, maybe around 30 hours per week, but really they set up their own schedule. So think about it. You become an EA, so let's see, must possess active credentials for one of the following: enrolled agent or CPA. Now think about that, right? Enrolled agent is obviously you pay $500 something plus whatever tools that you need to study for the exam, right? So our average was like $1,046, right? CPA, bachelor's degree, thousands of dollars, right? Paying for the CPA exam, thousands of dollars. Studying for it may take you forever. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing here? Right? So that's your best bang for your buck. And don't tell anybody I told you not to go to school anymore, right? But definitely that's your best bang for your buck, man. Enrolled agent. Because if you know that you're going to tax anyway, why go all the runaround and start becoming a CPA? I'm saying you should still become a CPA, but while you're getting to the road of becoming a CPA, you're already in tax accounting, right? So by the time you finish up your CPA exam or your bachelor's degree, you already have years of experience in tax and your bachelor's. So now you're going there with already the tools to start really making money, as opposed to saying, oh yeah, I'm just starting out as a junior accountant. No, you've already been doing accounting, right? So that's your easiest way of getting in. Okay, so the EA exam is something that you should really look into. And I'll give you an example here of some questions.
How hard was the EA exam?
Bro, I was studying my butt off for no reason. No reason. Because the program that I use, they made it more difficult than what the actual exam part is. But that's good, right?
Yeah, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing, because when you get to the exam part, you're like, wait, is this easy? And I'm just clicking away. I'm like, yeah, it's this easy? I didn't fail a part. I passed all the parts first try. And again, I wasn't but some of it, I can honestly say, if I didn't prepare tax returns before, it would be very, very difficult for me to answer those questions, right? Very difficult. So, I mean, of course, there needs to be an equilibrium, right? Prepare tax returns and study, right? Because just the information alone isn't probably going to get you to like those harder questions to really answering them.
So would you recommend someone to do like FIDA?
Yeah, and any tax experience, man. It doesn't matter, right? So here it is. So it has questions like this. So of course I'm going to go down to the bottom, right? That's what I'm always saying to do. Go down to the bottom. Okay. I'm going to look at the question. Based on their circumstances, what is the correct method to report the education credit? So now I have in my mind, I have to focus on education credits, right? So now I'm going to read the question. Oh, with the statement before. Two taxpayers married on November 30th, that same year. The husband enrolled in an accredited college to further his career and subsequently received a 1098-T tuition statement. The wife was employed with an income of $45,000 and paid the husband's education expenses. So based on their circumstances, what is the correct method to report the education credit? To me, that's an easy one. Based on the wife's AGI. So this is going to throw you off. So they're saying based on the wife's AGI, they do not qualify to claim an education credit. I'm going to say that's a way to throw you off, because hardly ever they're ever going to ask you like AGI questions, right? Why are they not going to ask you that? Because we just went over that the standard deduction can possibly change every year, right? So if they put that on the exam, what has to happen to the exam?
They have to update the whole exam.
They have to update the whole exam. So they're not going to do that. So more than likely, any exam, any statement indicating something like that, that can't be the answer. Okay. So number 3, the husband is ineligible to claim an education credit because the wife paid for his education expenses. No, you guys are together, right? So you're doing things jointly. So that can't be the answer. So D, wife should report non-qualified education expenses on Form 8863. No, these are qualified expenses because he enrolled in an accredited college to further his career, right? So that's when it really makes sense. So it needs to be an accredited college, right? It can't just be something that is not accredited, right? And it was to further his career, not just stay the same, right? So what they're saying is you can't just keep on getting degrees for no apparent reason. That's why they instituted that, okay? Yeah, man, so just those type of questions. And what I did was, so they're giving you these right now. There's other ways to get all the old questions from all the prior exams, right? So I just studied all the old questions from the prior exams, studied the exam from from the website that I got, and then that's it. Okay. Okay. Any questions on that? No questions on that? Okay. So that's the homework.